Krishna. So, any kind of relationship you have with Krishna, that as long as it's with Krishna, then Krishna honors that. He accepts you at whatever. Just like a little child. I am staying at Raj Prabhu's house, right? He has a little child, 3-year-old, who actually looks like 5, but he's 3. So, I am just making this up, I hope he will not mind. That sometime, if he comes charging up to his father and say, yes, I want to fight, he may say, okay, yeah, sure, let's go have a fight. His daughter is less likely to say that, but the sons are that. So, he's fighting. Doesn't mean he's really fighting. But he is giving that pleasure to the child that he wants to have right now of fighting his father. Sometimes he says, Father, you become a horse, I want to ride you. If I say that to him, he may look at me, oh my God, probably. But for his son, he may just accept and say, okay, I'm in a good mood, I'll become a horse for you, you can ride me. I'll worry about my knees later. So, Krishna is the same way. He can have any relationship with you that you want to have. If you do really want to have it. So what kind of relationships did we say yesterday? There is a very simple loving relationship. There is a hate relationship. There is an angry relationship. There is a relationship of affection. There is a relationship of fear. And of course, these thieves we were talking about yesterday, the rogues, they were wanting to have a relationship of greed. That I just want their jewels. I just want his jewels. Gold is all. That's a greed kind of relationship. But Krishna accepts all of them. But in the first chapter, Narad Muni is explaining, all because he is equal to everyone, that's why he accepts it. Vena did not have any relationship with Krishna, he did not hate Krishna, he did not love Krishna, he was not afraid of Krishna. He had no kind of relationship with Krishna, so he went to hell. But Shishupal on the other side, on the other hand, had a relationship with Krishna. Even when he woke up a little at night and turned around in his own bed, he said a couple of bad things about Krishna. So what was happening? Krishna is always on his mind. He was so bad. And what happens? Rukmini is trying to get Rukmini married to Shishupal or something like that, and Krishna comes and takes her away. That drives him even more nuts. And now he is even worse. Every time he sits down with somebody, instead of saying Hare Krishna, he says how bad Krishna is. But one way or the other, it is a relationship with Krishna only. So Kans, for example, had a different relationship. What kind of relationship did Kans have? Fear. He was absolutely fearful of Krishna. The day Devaki got married, by Krishna's arrangement, he was put in a fearful condition. that the eighth son of your own sister is going to kill you. Now already he is worried about dying. We all have to die. But do we worry about death every day? We don't. But if there's something standing in front of you, that this thing is going to kill me one day. Let's say this pillar here. I say that this pillar is going to fall on you one day and that's going to cause your death. What are you going to do? Remove the damn pillar first. We'll worry about the house coming down later. Let's remove this pillar. Right? It's very natural. We would do that, right? Or we would say, oh yeah, please save the pillar. I don't mind dying under it. I really love this pillar. No, all of a sudden, even if you love that pillar, you're going to start hating it. Oh my God, it's going to kill me. So, what Kansa did is really not all that unreasonable, is it? But of course, that fear wasn't unreasonable. But what actions he took on the basis of that was fear, was unreasonable. That killing all the little babies because somebody said, oh, there is a flower here that has 8 leaves. Which one is the 8th? Can you tell me? Anyone can be the 8th, depends upon where you start counting. So, made him more evil. That it's not the 8th one. First he was just waiting. Okay, 8th one. 7 are okay. Let go. But if somebody comes and tells you, it's not this pillar, it could be any pillar of the house. Bring all the pillars down before you know the whole house comes down. So that's what he did. I said, take out all of them, kill the little babies, and put the sister and her husband in the prison. Why? Because he's so afraid, so scared. Even when he was sitting down to eat, he would call somebody and say, okay, you eat a piece first, out of mine. Because God knows, maybe poison. There is also a pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the 2 brothers, Ilwal and the other one. What's the other one? Vatapi. So, Vatapi knew how to change forms. And these 2 brothers, they took the appearance of sages, munis, sadhus, and they would invite other sadhus to come and eat. And they prepare the food, and then Vatapi would enter inside the food. So the sage eats the food goes in his tummy, and now Vatapi changes his form to something else and busts out the whole body of the sadhu and dies on the spot. But the mistake they made was they invited Agastya Muni to eat. And they wanted to kill Agastya that day. And Agastya figured out what was going on. And he said, okay, you want to play with me, eat the food. He ate the food, and then he increased his Jataragni so much that Vatapi could not handle it. It burnt Vatapi to death right inside the tummy of Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni basically consumed it. I wouldn't say he didn't remain vegetarian. That's what you deserve. You're in the form of a food. Just like when Krishna killed Arishtasura, although the Arishtasura was in the form of a cow, but really, he was a demon. So you can call Krishna cow killer, but it would not be reasonable. So similarly, Agastya Muni, you cannot call him non-vegetarian because he only ate vegetarian food. Vadapi went into it. So Vadapi got consumed. So Kans was very worried. At night he was always dreaming. One place it is said that there is Shanga Chakra Gadapad. So until even the first child was born to Devaki, Shankar would come and scare him at night. He was having darshan of the Shankar. And the Shankar would come, and who's scared of Shankar? But if a shank in front of you is growing and growing and growing to be such a big, huge thing on top of your head that it can fall any time and finish you up, you will be scared of a shank. So similarly, he started to see Padma. So Padma first, the lotus flower. Nobody is scared of the lotus flower, but the size of the lotus flower hanging on your head can be. Then the shank, then the gada, and then chakra. Chakra is really scary. And then when Krishna was born, he actually started to see a little baby coming to bother him. The baby would come to almost kind of want to play with him, but because of his own mentality, he was scared that, oh my God, this is the baby. So he was so afraid that in his mental consciousness of being that way, he was seeing Krishna everywhere. Anywhere the door moved, even the air moved one of the curtains, he would feel that Krishna is coming. So, if you are seeing Krishna everywhere, what are you going to get when you die? Who else can you get? If you are seeing Krishna everywhere, who else can you get? There is no chance of you achieving some other destination because you are only seeing Krishna. So, Narad Muni explains. So then he also says that actually achieving Krishna by hatred or envy is actually much easier than achieving Krishna by love. Why? Why is that? It is not that difficult to love Krishna, is it? How easy is it to hate him? Not very easy at all. It's very difficult. And even if you say, okay, no, I want to achieve Krishna and I really want to do it, so Akrura Prabhu said, hate is easier, so I'm going to start hating, but how long are you going to be able to stick to it? How much association are you going to get or find? You would be alone. Because the people out there, they quote unquote don't know Krishna or don't like Krishna, but they don't hate him. Where are you going to get that association? Where are you going to get the determination? But if you want to love Krishna, it's not that difficult. We're taking people right off the street and giving them the holy name, and the love develops in their heart and they become absolutely addicted. This holy name is actually more addictive than the liquor. It makes you more useless than drunkard. Because once you get into it, nothing else makes sense, does it? You don't want to associate with non-devotees. It could be a problem. But it is a very natural thing. Loving for us is very easy because that's our tendency. We are loving beings. We love. We love our car, we love our body, we love our furniture at our home, we love our children, we love our parents, we love everything that's around us because that's how we are. So the only thing we have to do is basically dovetail that same love towards Krishna, and that's it. It's easier said than done, but that's all you have to do. So we practice all our lives to do that, and hopefully in a few lifetimes we may achieve that. But that's all. But doing any other process is so much more difficult. It is so much more difficult to do. So that's why Narad Muni says all the other processes of achieving Krishna are actually much easier than love and affection. So the demons can achieve Krishna faster than us, better than us. So that is the mainly the content of the first chapter called the Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. Any questions so far? Not from here and there and everywhere, from this chapter. Because we want to make sure that everybody is clear and understand the topics that we're discussing, but at the same time, we don't want to be diverted into a whole new direction either. That's okay, everybody understands this much, all the examples and so on.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yeah?
Why does Narad Muni say that it's easier to hate Krishna than to love him?
No, he doesn't say it's easier to hate Krishna than to love him. He says it's easier to love Krishna than to hate him. Maybe I'm sorry, I said it the wrong way.
My mistake.
I did say it the wrong way?
No, right. No, you are right, Prabhuji.
No, but by mistake did I say it backwards? I do it sometimes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Even I say.
But yeah, the reality is, it's easier to love Krishna than to hate him. I'm sorry. We sang the Bengali bhajan for you when we were looking for you to give us the translation.
Maybe, in the break again.
Okay. Yes.
The Kamsa's fear was again due to his lust, right? It was born out of his lust only. Fear of Krishna. All that big fear of, every time. That is all mental.
Yes.
It wasn't necessary.
One way everything comes from lust. Lust means desire. So we all have some kind of desire. As soon as we get into this body, we are covered with this Maya, which binds us to have all these desires. No matter how bad this body is, no matter how bad a situation we're living in, no matter how much we're realizing that we are getting bombarded with all kinds of dukkha, but we still have a desire to keep this body and live in here and do everything. So that is a kind of a natural kind of tendency that's stuck onto us, and it binds us from thinking out of the box. Thinking out of the box. Any other comments? So the next is Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons. In this chapter, Hiranyakashipu is actually consoling the wives of Hiranyaksha. because Hiranyaksha has just been killed by Lord Varaha. So he's consoling the wives of Hiranyaksha who are crying and crying and crying. And you would be amazed at what kind of examples he's giving to his bhabis. What is the example?
With the Yamaraja and
Yeah, that's later. But first he gives an example.
Like how Krishna told Arjuna about the body and soul.
Yeah.
He kept saying,
But he didn't quote Krishna and Arjuna.
yeah, but he was just like
Yeah, just like.
talking about the body and soul.
Yeah. So he's telling his bhabis, or whatever you call them, that please don't cry. Understand that in this life we have come together just like the herds of different animals. They come together to a water hole to drink some water. And then they drink their water and they go home to their merry way and disperse and go all over the place. Just because we came to drink water at the same hole, that did not make us religious. This is a very high class example that he's giving of the philosophy. And it's Hiranyakashipu who's giving this example. That please don't be attached just because we're drinking water from the same hole for a while, for one time of drinking water. That doesn't mean we have anything really in common. Because right after drinking the water, we go our own way. So in this body we have come together like that. So you are thinking that he was your husband, but really it was all a temporary situation. Do not be attached. So this is actually non-different than what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna in the second chapter. So he's trying to give the same realization. And even then when they don't, they're not satisfied, he tells them about the death of King Suyagya. This King Suyagya was a very, very powerful king that Hiranyakashipu is telling his relatives about. That all the small little kings of the earth, because he was the Maharaj Adhiraj, the king of the kings, all of them one time they got together and they conspired and killed Suyagya. And Suyagya's wives were crying and crying and crying. But they held on to his body and cried for hundreds of years. Everybody does that. But hundreds of years, nobody does. So even Yamaraj gets affected by that. And Yamaraj comes down to the earth to console the wives of Suyagya, because there is nobody else to do that. And Yamaraj is feeling a little bit responsible for causing this. So he comes to console them and he tells them the pastimes of different previous things. So here one thing to point out or to understand is that this Bhagavatam is being spoken by Sut Goswami to Shaunaka Rishi, in which he is quoting Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj's conversation, in which they are now quoting Narad Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj's conversation. Within that, there is the Hiranyakashipu speaking to his relatives. Within that, now there is Yamaraj speaking to Sri Arjuna's wife. And within that, there is now another story coming up. So, in a way, it is very complicated to figure all this out by ourselves. But of course, Srila Prabhupada has made things easier for us. So, we do it. Otherwise, this is enough to drive somebody crazy. Oh my God, what is going on? What is this? 18,000 verses, and it's just all over the place. So next chapter, Hiranyakaship's plan to become immortal. These few chapters are the same chapters that we usually do at the time of Narasimhadeva appearance, late in May, the dramas and all that. So we're not going to take the time to do them right now. Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe, how he does that. Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. This is the chapter when Prahlad Maharaj starts to meet with his father, and for the first time Hiranyakashipu doesn't mind what Prahlad says. The next time he minds, and the third time he throws him off. So, one thing to pay attention here is many people ask in this chapter, who are paying attention, maybe everybody knows here, is Hiranyakashipu went for tapasya for thousands of years. And when he came home, his son was only 5. How's that? Anybody knows?
What is the question?
The question is that Hiranyakashipu went to perform tapasya for so many thousands of years. When he came home, his son was still only 5 years old. And when he had gone to tapasya, Kayadu, his wife, was kidnapped, and she was already told to be pregnant. So somebody who's been in tapasya for thousands of years, he comes home and finds a 5-year-old son, is unexplainable. Is he really mine?
Different planet.
Different
He is
planet.
doing in a different planet. Different loka.
Let's not speculate. I'm only
She
asking.
did not give birth to him.
It was an Arab Muni, and the
She did
Muni,
not
the time
came out of
goes,
the womb.
is different from the time
Different
now.
planet.
She did not give him out of the womb.
Yes. In this chapter, Prahlad Maharaj, what Prahlad learned in his mother's womb, he starts in this chapter. This chapter is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. So in this chapter, he starts by giving this explanation that when my mother was kidnapped, Narad Muni took her away from the Indradi demigods. And he took her to his ashram. And the first thing that my mother asked Narad Muni is, give me a boon, that I don't want to deliver this child until it's time for my husband to come home. God knows how many thousands of years he's gone. I don't want to bring up this child without a father. What am I going to tell him? And he could develop hatred because of all that. So instead of him going into any kind of hatred situation, because after all he was a son of a demon and a Kshatriya. So She would have had to tell him, okay, your father is in tapasya, and why he is in tapasya? Because your uncle was killed and your father is mad and Vishnu is our Dushman and all of this and that. So this boy is going to develop all kinds of hatred. So instead, I just don't want to deliver it. So she remained pregnant. And every morning she would go to hear the Bhagavatam from Narad Muni, and Prahlad Maharaj is hearing every day. Now she is understanding or retaining anything or not, but he is understanding and retaining everything. Because as soon as he comes out, he starts speaking the Bhagavatam. He has all the knowledge. So, this is a question that many people ask. It's a genuine question, and the answer is there, but the answer is kind of covered. Just in the simple words, Prahlad Maharaj just says it, doesn't give a detail, he just says it. That my mother just held me in the womb like that. No mother can really do that. You need a blessing for it. You cannot just say, okay, I'm going to hold it. We can't hold anything. When it needs to come out, it just needs to come out. So Lord Nrsimhadev slays the king of the demons. Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal, Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe. Like we chant the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hiranyakashipu said, this is not a good mantra. What you should chant is Om Namo Bhagavate Hiranyakashipuvaya. Nobody wants to chant that one. This is not a good mantra. Chant Om Namo Bhagavate Hiranyakashipuvaya. So then Prahlad Maharaj pacifies Lord Nrsimhadev after Lord Nrsimhadev has killed Hiranyakashipu, but still is furiously mad. Then Prahlad Maharaj is best among the exalted devotees. This chapter is spoken by Narad Muni himself to glorify the devotional service of Prahlad Maharaj. Now, this is the chapter that we're going to discuss. The perfect society for social classes. This is told by Narad Muni to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and really it is not for Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj is already Dharmaraj. Narad Muni told this to Yudhishthira Maharaj for the benefit of us, for our benefit. The next chapter is the perfect society for spiritual classes. If we finish the chapter 11, we will go to 12, and then 13 is the behavior of a perfect person, and 14 is ideal family life. So we'll start with 11, and 15th is instructions for civilized human beings. So this you can see Narad Muni sitting down on the Vyasasana below, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking him questions. But Krishna is sitting on the higher seat and also hearing everything. So at the beginning of the 11th chapter, Yudhishthira Maharaj inquires from Devarshi Narad about the principles of religion by which one can attain the ultimate goal of life. How to attain the ultimate goal of life. That is the question asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj. And the 11th chapter is the answer for that question. So what is the goal of life? Who can tell? Raise your hand. Those who have not been answering any questions, who are keeping an eye on you. Yes? The blue boy? Huh?
To go back to Godhead.
To go back to Godhead. Very good. Any other answers?
To establish a broken relationship.
Establish our broken relationship with the Supreme Personality. Yes.
I was going to say what he said.
Oh. And what about you?
To know the absolute truth.
To know the absolute truth. Krishna Prema. The yellow boy.
To be the servant of the Lord.
To be the servant of the Lord. Very good. Good boy. Yeah, excellent. Who else?
No matter whichever body we are in, to always remain in the our original constitutional position of being servant.
Krishna consciousness. Yes.
Please Krishna.
Please Krishna. Yes. Good. Any other answers? These are all right answers, but just in this context, in this chapter, in this incident or event, the answer that Narad Muni gives is devotional service. The goal of life is devotional service. Although somebody said Krishna Prema, which is the right answer or the most right answer, but it's one and the same. How do you achieve Krishna Prema? How do you love anyone? How can you love anyone? You have to serve them to be able to love. I cannot say to you, Prabhu, I love you to death. Please don't ever ask me to do anything for you. Is that love? I'm just saying it, I don't mean it, because I'm also saying, don't ever ask me to do anything for you. That love is no love. It's just saying, outward. Like we chant all the time, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama. And soon as we are asked to do some service, oh Prabhu, I have Rams to do. Well, what are you chanting? What are you chanting for? Now you are getting the service, you are refusing. Then what is the point? Might as well put your bag aside. Go do something else. So, devotional service is the means to get to Krishna Prema. Why is devotional service the goal of life? Because it is the means to get to Krishna. So in the verse 8 to 12, Narad Muni presents 30 general principles to be followed by all human beings. You see how the all human beings underline? That includes everyone. The children, the little children, the older children, the children who are grandfathers, grandmothers, children at heart, everybody. This is not just for the grown-ups. So principle number 1 is truthfulness. Out of the 30 principles. Very easy, very simple. Is it? Everybody is looking at me and laughing. No, it's not. Why not? Why is it not so easy and simple to be truthful? Why can we not be truthful? Yes?
Because you think you will get in trouble.
Yes?
If you get in trouble, you
thingy, and and your mother asks you that where is like the cell phone, and then you don't want to get in trouble. You say, I don't know.
Is that your mother whose lap you were sitting in right now? She's gonna have to have a little talk with you. But we encourage you to speak and speak the truth and learn to speak the truth at the young age. Because the truth will always be, speaking the truth in the long run will always be in your favor. You speak untruthfully once, and even when you are telling the truth, your mother is not going to trust you. Right, mother? And if you don't tell the lie ever, then she will trust you. So you will never get into trouble where there was no trouble. Telling a lie once will get you in all kinds of trouble that you did not even create or you did not even think of. Just because you're not trusted anymore, you are in trouble. No matter what happened, what the neighbor did it or the brother did it or the other sibling, well, you are in trouble because you are the one who's known to not tell the truth. Alright? So which one do you want to be? The one who's truthful or the one who's always in trouble because of not being truthful? You want to be one of these? Because if you don't tell the truth, what happens? Your nose grows. You want to see your nose grow like that? No? Then you always tell the truth. It is not actually all that difficult. If we practice like they say, करत करत अभ्यास के बहुमति होत सुजान, रसरी आवत जात रहे, सिल पर पड़त निशान. If we practice to be truthful in all conditions, in all situations, it is possible to become completely truthful. It is not impossible. But we must practice, because the charity begins at home. How many people are parents here? Okay, that's almost the whole room, with only very little exceptions. And how many of those people who just raised their hands would like to see their children lying to them? And how many of you actually sometimes have to lie yourself? Be honest now. So, the moral of the story is, what are we trying to teach our children? Why don't we practice it ourselves? Right? That's what I mean when I say charity begins at home. Start following yourself first. If you want to have your children growing up to be telling perfect truth, then we have to show them how to do that. How to get away with truth rather than how to get away with a lie. Because if it is trouble, it's trouble. If you made a mistake, you made a mistake. Accept it. Accepting your mistake is only going to make you a bigger person. It's not going to make you smaller. But not accepting it is going to make you smaller. You're not going to like yourself, and nobody else is going to like that either. Who likes to befriend a liar? Like you say, there's a marriage arrangement, So this person goes with a marriage proposal to the girl's house about his friend. So they say, okay, what kind of habits does your friend have? All good habits, very good habits. So what? Does he drink? Oh, he does not drink at all. Oh. Does he go to the bad places? Oh no, none at all. Does he eat meat? Oh no, never. Any other bad qualities? No, nothing. I say, okay, what bad quality does he have? Sometimes he lies a little bit. All gone down the drain. If he is going to lie, then nothing else matters. Because God knows what He's telling you, that He doesn't drink, He doesn't gamble. He's telling you He doesn't do all that. But if He lies, everything is gone to a waste. Do we want to do that? No. So, we need to become truthful, or as truthful as we want our children to become. We need to be a person to face the facts rather than hide behind something. Because we don't want others to do that to us, so then we better do it ourselves. How many devotees are ready to become truthful? What about the ones who are not raising their hands? They want to remain that way? Huh? How many devotees are ready to take a vow to become truthful from today? Never tell a lie. What about the children? Were you waiting? Now Prabhuji said the parents have to do it first, so once the parents prove to us, then we will jump in. No, we can go together, because on the soul level we're not parents and we're not children. On the soul level we're the same, right? So we can go all the same. How many devotees are willing to take a vow today to become truthful?
Even if we take vow, we should be able to maintain. How do we know we'll be able to maintain?
I don't think we
Are you married? You are? You took a vow to be with your husband for the good or bad, and you are maintaining? You plan to maintain for the rest of your life? You have proven yourself that you can take a vow and you can follow it. You took that vow, you've been following, and you plan to follow for the rest of your life. Then why not this one? This is very difficult, very different.
Yes.
Sometimes it is always difficulty in maintaining a relationship between husband and wife. No matter, I'm not going to ask, raise your hand who's ever had a difficulty. I know without raising hands. Everybody has had. But we went through it. We worked it out. And we're hanging on. So, similarly, truthfulness really is where it all begins. In any relationship. If it's husband, wife, mother, sister, employer, employee, any relationship, this is your first basis on which the whole thing is standing. Because as we discussed, that this boy has no bad qualities, he doesn't do anything bad at all, but sometimes he lies. So, the foundation is right there. Narad Muni is not kidding. He's not throwing these things out of the air. Yes.
So I have a question. Under what conditions, at what circumstances it is acceptable to be untruthful?
Under every circumstance.
No, untruthful.
It is acceptable to be untruthful.
To lie.
There is no such
Well, under what circumstance do you think we should be lying? Because if I say, well, I am absolutely truthful, I always tell the truth, unless if I have to not, you know. I am telling the truth 99% of the time. Would you buy that? Is 99% good enough?
Prabhuji, what about the white lie?
There is no but.
Well, it depends how white it is. White has to be very, very white. Yes. So is that a good example to follow or a bad example to follow? It's a bad example. So we want to have you give us a good example instead of Dharmaraj's bad example. Dharmaraj